Good evening, everyone. He's one of the most flamboyant stroke makers in modern day cricket and an equally incisive spin bowler across formats. So today we have with us on the Free Press Journal former England all-rounder Moeen Ali. Thank you so much, Moeen, for joining me. It's a pleasure to
No
have you.
problem. No worries. Thanks for having me. I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah. As the Champions Trophy draws nearer, there are two subplots I'm keen to touch on. First is the return of the tournament after almost 8 years, uh, especially at a time when we are constantly hearing that 50 over cricket is dying. And second is Pakistan hosting an ICC event for the first time since 1996. Your take on those two things?
I think on the first point with the 50 over cricket dying, I
Yeah.
think out of the three formats, it is the one format that is least liked by people watching. People, I would say playing wise, guys enjoy playing it still, but it's I think for many reasons. I think the rules in the format are not great. I've felt like that for a while in terms of two new balls. Having an extra fielder up in the middle overs for the spinners, well, everyone really, but it makes spinning, it makes life harder for the spinners. I think that's why you see so many batters averaging have high averages in 50 overs because it's very difficult to build pressure. It's very like guys these days. There's so much reverse sweeping. For example, if a spinner has the offside up, he
Yeah.
can bowl and build pressure for three, four balls, and then all of a sudden it's a reverse sweep. It's four runs a lot of the time, or he
Yeah.
has to have mid off up. And
Yeah.
then you can't flight the ball as much, and you lose the art of bowling spin. And
Mhm.
I think it's very, very difficult for spinners. But I just and it has the element of the 15 to 20, 30 overs of unless you're playing in India with the ball spinning nicely or it's a fast whatever or seaming around. It's quite boring a lot of the time, which is sad to say. But I think it takes out obviously reverse swing and things like that what used to happen back in the day, and it was great to watch. Yeah, I think the rules need modifying big time.
Okay. And also,
And the second,
it's the return of the ICC event in Pakistan for the first time since 1996. It's obviously a
yeah,
landmark moment for them. Uh,
yeah.
how do you see
I
this
think it's
tournament?
amazing for them. I think it's amazing for them. Having played one PSL years ago,
Yeah,
and knowing a lot of people that go there in terms of security and stuff, it is. I mean, anything can happen anywhere, and in terms of how it was, there was really well done. When a gentleman called Wasim Khan was in charge of PSL, he did an amazing job with all that and to bring cricket back to Pakistan. And it's taken a few years. And the cricket there generally is very good. The wickets are amazing, and that's why I think it's going to be very tight. And to call who's going to win, it's going to be tough. But I think it's great for Pakistan that the cricket has gone back. It's a shame, obviously, India doesn't go there, but it is what it is. And but it's just to have cricket, international cricket there as the ICC event is great there.
okay. Just to extend more on what what you spoke more on the 50 overs format, the tri series that happened recently between Pakistan, New Zealand, South Africa, and the
Yeah,
Champions Trophy. You feel these two things can help restore ODI cricket back to where it was?
I think I think it will help a bit. I think one thing about 50 over cricket is when there's a major event. So when there's a World Cup, Champions Trophy, then people are really interested and they'll sit and watch all day. But it's more when there's like a series going on 50 overs. People don't watch it, to be honest with people. And even they don't sit there the whole day at the grounds or they don't you don't get the crowds in at the grounds, and even at home, you don't watch the full 50 over games anymore as you used to. And that's how society is, I think, these days. But um, I think whether it's a World Cup or an ICC Champions Trophy, I think it's always interesting, and I think it is great to watch.
Okay. Uh, One of the most anticipated contests, or the most anticipated contest of the tournament, India versus Pakistan. In this itself, there are a few subplots, like India not traveling to Pakistan to play their matches, and they both were the finalists in 2017, with Pakistan emerging victorious.
Yeah.
What are you expecting out of this match in Dubai?
I'm expecting a good. I think the last few times it's been good games. I think Pakistani bowlers are they do quite well against India generally, but I think India also have got used to playing. See, in 2017 and before, India hardly played Pakistan, and I
Yeah,
hadn't faced guys like Shaheen and Mohammad Amir and these guys who did really well. They hadn't faced them,
yeah,
and I think so. I think they got caught out a little bit by still not knowing that much about them. But I think over the last few years, they have played against each other a lot more in T20 cricket and stuff like that, World Cups. So I think they've just started to, um,
hmm,
get used to that again and those type of bowlers. But having said that, the game being played in Dubai, I think is more
hmm,
of an issue for India than it is for Pakistan. I
okay,
think if it was in Pakistan, I expect India. If it was in Pakistan or India, I'd just expect India to beat Pakistan. I think being in Dubai, I think it does just bring in Pakistan slightly more with the bowlers, definitely. And Bumrah not being there is a big miss, I think, for India also. So it'd be good. I'm expecting a very, very obviously amazing crowd, first of all, but I'm expecting a great game of cricket and it'll be a tight game.
okay. It goes without saying that Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli must come good if India are to win this tournament, having not had a smooth sailing off late. Do you feel this is a tournament? These are the conditions they are going to be playing in Dubai, and there's a format when the two can remind the world that like they're not yet done in international cricket.
Um, so in terms of Rohit and Virat, you mean?
Virat,
What
yeah.
what they haven't done? What do you mean? What they haven't done? Sorry. Yeah, the last
No,
bit.
no. The thing is, what my question is, having not had a smooth sailing of late, they didn't have a good test series in Australia.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay,
Do you feel
yeah.
this is the tournament and this is a format, a 50 overs format? Do you feel this is where they can remind the world that they're not yet done in international cricket?
Yeah, they don't have to remind anyone anything. Of course, form is up and down, and even in a little bit of bad form, Rohit he scored 100 not so long ago, and Virat does still score. See, the difference is
Hmm.
with average players like who myself and whatever. When we used to score 34, is sometimes we used to think we're in form.
Yeah.
And the problem is we're so used to seeing Rohit, Virat, and these guys scoring hundreds and winning games, and they do that still. But when they score 30, 40, people think they're out of form. And probably they're not that much out of form. Of course, in terms of hundreds, they haven't scored as much as we're used to seeing. But when it comes to these competitions, I think this is exactly what they need at this stage. I think they so for them it's about they are for well, I'm at a very similar age to them. And I think it's more about winning trophies and being in big competitions. And I think that motivation is for them would be a bit bigger than it probably was years ago.
Yeah.
Or it for any other series because those series are great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but they are at age now, a stage now. Sorry, where I think it's all about performing on the biggest stage is now for them will be the Champions Trophy.
Yeah.
I won't be surprised if they play the Champions Trophy and then they call it a day in terms of international cricket. So they'll give everything. That's one thing I know from them guys. But no, I'm expecting them to do really well. To be honest with you, I'm expecting them to, in particular, to score runs.
Of course, with Jasprit Bumrah not being there for India, do you feel they have like the arsenal in their bowling unit to win the tournament?
I think he's the biggest miss for any team in the world right now. I think he's a huge miss for India. And it's not India will still do really well. And don't get me wrong, they'll qualify. I'm expecting them to qualify, etc. But to win is
Hmm.
now to win the Champions Trophy. I feel like you need a Bumrah. I think India need a Bumrah. Um, so I, I'm expecting them to go through, of course, but I, I'm not sure they can win without Bumrah. So with other teams being also very strong, obviously Australia also have lost a lot of bowlers. Um, and things like that. So I don't know they've just beaten England in India without Bumrah, but this is Champions Trophy. This is a bit different now, and I think there's times where you need those guys, that type of special bowler to stand up, and they're missing their special bowler.
Okay. Speaking of England, you were part of the squad in the 2017 Champions Trophy that reached the semi-final, and England were in the middle of that white ball revolution that culminated in winning the 2019 World Cup. But since then, they seem to have lost some sheen and been a bit inconsistent, except for winning the T20 World Cup in 2022. Their form is also not where they are expecting it to be ahead of this Champions Trophy. Where do you think they are going wrong?
I think the only place they are going wrong is the batters are not scoring hundreds. So like the top four, five are not scoring big, and I think that was the difference in back when we were doing well. You had Jason Roy,
Uh,
Bairstow, um, Morgan, these guys when they were in the and Root obviously at that time was scoring. They were scoring big hundreds, and hundreds was a big thing. And I think at the moment we as the England side we're not doing that at the moment, and I think in Pakistan we will, and I think those wickets will suit our batters more. I think someone like Harry Brook will turn up, will really turn up, and I think in India was very difficult for England. I think obviously India outplayed England, but I think in the Champions Trophy and in Pakistan it's a different, slightly different game, and I think they will be fine. I actually think England will go all the way. I
yeah.
think the bowlers, and I'm not just saying this because I'm English, but I think they have Jofra Archer, Wood. I think Adil Rashid's very
Mhm.
big for them, and he's very, very important for them. And I think they got really, really good batters who, if they get in form, and that's the big thing, if they can just get into a bit of form, I think England will be a proper force. And like a couple of other teams who I think will do well, um, I think New Zealand will be the other team. Actually, who are going to do well there. I think they've got really good balance to their side. The only thing they're missing really is a wrist spinner. Um,
Okay.
but they're very good spinner in Santner and Bracewell, I think is good, and they're both batters. They're back deep,
Yeah.
so I'm expecting those guys to do quite well. Those two teams in particular to do well.
Uh, it's a big question, but do you feel Josh Butler's time as captain might be up if England don't do well in this Champions Trophy? Also, do you feel someone like Harry Brook is ready to take on the leadership role in white ball cricket?
Um, Whether he's ready or not, I'm not sure. I mean, he's. I think sometimes you don't know if you're ready, and if you get given it, you just do it and you do well. Um, but I think Josh is the best player and the candidate to take the team forward. And I'm pretty confident actually that they're going to do well. Honestly, I think they'll do really well. And so I don't see that. But look, everything comes to an end. Everything good comes to an end at some point. And I'm sure if England don't do well, then Josh might he might step down himself, or they might change it up a bit. But these kind of things happen in sport, and you just take it on the chin as a sportsman. So there's pressure on all the captains, obviously, to do well because I think a lot of the teams can do really well in there. So yeah, I think there's always pressure on as a captain, and you just deal with it the best way you can.
Also, like, with actually England, Australia, and South Africa's form being a bit shaky before this Champions Trophy, do you feel Afghanistan stands a strong chance of reaching the semi-finals from Group B?
Yeah, I think Afghanistan is going to be the dark horse team. Which, when I say dark horse, I don't mean in terms of doing well. I think in terms of winning and winning the competition. I don't see them quite winning the competition, but I see them making doing an upset, and I see them competing in all the games definitely. But it all depends on the wickets. The wickets could be super flat in Pakistan, and as we know, they're quite small. And if it doesn't spin, then that could be a bit of an issue also for teams. And I think in this Champions Trophy, it's going to be about scoring runs. Who scores big runs for them?
Yeah.
And they have some very, very good players. And I think at the moment, in generally, I think people are playing 50 overs like it's T20s a little bit. I think they're going um, too hard at sometimes when they can. You got 50 overs is a very long time to bat. Um, so I think it's going to be about the runs more than anything in this competition.
Okay. Speaking of IPL 2025, you fetched a contract with the Kolkata Knight Riders. How excited are you to join the defending champions and play for a team owned by the charismatic Shah Rukh Khan?
Yeah, yeah, very, very excited. It's a huge franchise. Obviously, KKR, three-time winners now. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure, which is a lot in IPL, and they've won. They won last year. Did very, very well. Got some amazing players. So, and they've kept the core generally there. And look, I know in terms of playing time will be very limited for me there. But if I get the chance and I can train hard, I'll train hard, and I'm just super excited and see how they go. And yeah, I'm really excited to be part of it. Obviously, Chennai was amazing for myself, and I loved my years there. But yeah, it's going to be a very good challenge for me.
You were part of the Chennai Super Kings, the title winning squad in 21 and 2023. Were you disappointed or surprised not to be retained by the franchise for IPL 2025? And of course, having to part ways with MS Dhoni. Are you a bit distraught about that as well?
Not really. To be honest, I know these things come to like I said, everything good comes to an end, and it was an amazing time for me. I wouldn't say I was disappointed. I think the sad thing for me is like because I was there for 4 or 5 years now, and I got used to everything there. I know how the whole franchise run and who's in charge and all these kind of things. And it's an amazing, amazing franchise. So I'm
Yeah.
just sad that I'm not part of that. But I wouldn't say I was disappointed. You expect these things in auctions, etc. But I was more, I'm just sad that I left a place I was for 4 or 5 years now and really enjoyed my time there. Obviously, champions twice, and I just knew how the whole franchise worked. And having played under MS, I'm also very lucky. I actually look at it as very fortunate that I played under MS when he was captain right at the end, and we won it twice under him. So, yeah, I mean, these things happen, and everything good comes to an end. So, but I'm really excited about KKR. I'm looking forward to playing there.
Just one final question, which is about the Champions Trophy itself. Your predictions for the winner, highest wicket taker, and highest run getter, and also the semi-finalists.
Oh, it's very tough. It's gonna be super tough. I think the winner. I'm actually backing England to win. I think it'll be England New Zealand uh, final. Um, I'm just trying to think of whose semi-finals will be England versus. So you got India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and who's
And
the,
sorry,
who's in India Pakistan group? India, Pakistan,
India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, New Zealand.
New Zealand. Oh wow. So it's gonna be very difficult. I think New Zealand and India will qualify from there,
Okay.
and England. Um, I don't think Australia would make it through.
Okay.
South Africa.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
my semi-final. Um, Leading run scorer. I'm gonna back. I think it's gonna be leading run scorer is gonna come from teams playing in Pakistan, not Dubai, just because the wickets are much flatter. So I would have obviously. I think one of the Indian players would have. I would have backed them, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I think it'll be somebody like Harry Brook, potentially Klaasen will
Okay.
be the run scorers. And wicket taker, England really need Jofra to do well. Um, whether he takes the wickets, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna back the spinners. One of the spinners, I think Adil. I think Adil will be up there. And I actually like the O'Rourke from New Zealand, the fast bowler. I think he'll do quite well. So yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much, Moeen. It was a pleasure to speak to you, and it was excellent hearing your opinions about everything. I
No,
wish you the best,
thank you,
and I
thank you.
just we get to do this again in the future.
No problem. No
Thank
worries.
you
Thanks very much.
so
Appreciate
much.
it. Thank you.